It's coming in May, and tonight there's brand new footage of The Last of Us. I'm here with Bruce and Neil, the game directors of The Last of Us guys. So excited, I just got to go hands-on with a full-blown demo of this game.
First time, hands-on.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, what I love about it is that there's such an element of strategy to this game. And I think the Uncharted games, for so long, you know, you were kind of always going at 11 in many ways with big epic sequences. In this game, I mean, as you're fighting against the infected, you have stage 1 and stage 3 of these zombies, you know, the runners and the clickers. I mean, you really got to think about how you're going to play through this game.
I mean, one of the things we've wanted to build early on with this game is the sense of tension. So there had to be a threat, and it had to be like, these things are lethal. The lethality is very high. And then it's, how do I approach it? What do I have in my inventory? What have I scavenged? Do I want to stealth around these guys? Do I want to try to take them out one by one? Or do I want to go in guns blazing, yeah, Jeff Keighley style? And
well, there's some great choke points, as you said, because you know, you're kind of exploring, and then you get to a moment where you meet these two infected. First, you know, the runners, which will just come clobbering at you, and then the clickers, which is very interesting. You know, they respond just to sound, so that's where you can throw bricks or throw bottles and distract them, because one bite from those guys and you're dead, right?
Yeah. So the runners work in packs. They're really fast. They can still see, right? So you have to be really careful of whether or not you're in their line of sight. And then they're gonna pack up on you. They're gonna run. They're gonna take you down. If you're down, you have the ability to like sprint out of it. But at the same time, when you're down, you need to keep running. And the clickers, on the other hand, they use echolocation, so it's a completely different style of strategy. You can get really close to them, shine a flashlight in their eyes, get near them. You can use distractions. They're super sensitive, but you get near them, you're gone.
Yeah, they're a little slower, but way more lethal than the runners.
And you get your zombie radar. You can hold down R2 and you listen, and you can sort of sense where they are in the environment, right? To plot your attack.
That's Joel's ability to hear. He's listening. He's focusing in on what's going on in the environment. So you want to call out the different infected in the area, so you can focus in and say, okay, there's a guy through that wall, there's a guy over here, and you can strategize.
It was a way for us to visualize sounds. Yeah. So you go into this focus mode, and if they're making a sound, you can kind of see them through the environment.
Now, as you're going through this level, you happen to have Tess and Ellie with you. Tell us about kind of the interaction between those three characters, because you're trying to create such tension, but ultimately, you know, you're playing as Joel. So how do those other characters kind of interact and play into these very tense battles?
I mean, they're in it. They're part of the combat. At this point of the story, you know, Ellie's the first time she's out of the quarantine zone. She's still not showing how capable she really is. So it's really up to Joel and Tess to kind of...
No bow and arrow yet?
No bow and arrow yet.
Not yet.
And so Tess is in there. She's going to be shooting guys. She's going to be saving you from runners and clickers. Likewise, at times you'll have to save her. So you're kind of really looking out for each other as you're making your way through the space. If you're stealthing, Tess follows your lead. So as you're going around stealthing, she's going to stay behind cover. She's going to stay low. If you pull out your gun and start shooting at them and you're noticed, now she's going to pull out her gun and start helping you out.
It's really amazing how you can see like her showing up to help. You know, you see an infected on you, and while you're sitting there crafting, like you're modifying your 2x4 and throwing on some scissors, and you're just like, as it's coming, Tess is sitting there holding him back. You're like, come on, right? And then you can jump up, pop his head. It's pretty fun.
So how do you balance out that interplay between, you know, feeling the threat from the infected yourself, and then feeling the threat of them going after the other characters? I mean, it sounds like you're trying to build them up so you're not always worried that, like, you know, they're helpless, like they're able to fend for themselves.
Yeah, you have to feel like you're playing with real people, and capable people that at times will be in danger, but a lot of times they're going to save your ass. They should surprise you just like real people can. And our AI, you know, it's constantly assessing how many clickers are there, how many runners are there, how close is Tess to you, what does she need.
So is Tess going to steal my ammo then? Be running up to run right by.
If anything, she'll give you ammo.
Yeah.
All right, so they will help you out. But you've got, obviously, to conserve your ammo in this game. And that's one thing I learned early on, is you can't go guns blazing, as you said, because, I mean, limited number of shots on you know, a lot of the guns, and you've got the flashlight, and I got a Molotov cocktail that you can build and craft. So you got to be resourceful, I guess, about how you want to take these guys down. It's not all headshots.
Yeah, we really want to make you feel what Joel, Tess, and Ellie are feeling in the moment, which is, okay, I got 2 bullets, I'm up against a clicker, I know he can't see me, but at the same time, I have to get over to that brick so I can distract him. There's a 2x4 there, if I can craft that. So we really want to put you in that moment of like, what can I do right now to just survive? How do I get out of this?
It's all about these improvisations. As you run low on ammo, you could pick up a brick, throw it at a clicker, stun it for a little bit, get a hit in, run away, look for more bullets, and you're really kind of going in and out of stealth in this kind of flow.
So tell me about that core loop, because certainly there's some exploration and there's a little, I guess I'd call them almost skirmishes against the infected. Is that the kind of core gameplay loop? Like, you're going to explore a little bit, then go into skirmish, explore more, or how do you blend it?
Just like any Naughty Dog game, you know, constantly switch it up.
Okay.
So you've seen just a sample of it here with the clickers, right? When we saw it at E3, you saw the hunters, and there's a lot more to show as far as like gameplay variety as you're going on this long journey.
Right.
We wanna reward you also for not only just like enjoying beautiful worlds that our team goes out of the way to create, but also like find something, whether it's backstory, notes, revelations and character moments between Tess and Joel, or Joel and Ellie.
Right.
And then you're gonna find these little bits of information, but at the same time, we want to reward you for scavenging the environment, crafting, and that's gonna allow you different strategy heading into the next combat space.
You guys have done a really good job over the years, especially in the Uncharted games, of blending, storytelling in the game with cinematics and epic moments like that. How are you doing that in this game when there's such intimate kind of battles between the infected and Joel and Ellie and Tess, and then it feels like you go into an exploration mode? I mean, are there gonna be sort of epic infected battles, or how is that gonna play into the environment?
I mean, we keep talking about the set pieces are much more intimate.
Yeah.
They're just as hard to pull off, but they're between these characters.
How do you get it personal?
Yeah.
How do you get it, so that you actually feel that these characters' lives are at stake,
Yep.
and the characters that we're going out of our way in the story and moment to moment to try to make you feel invested in, like, I understand and care for these people. Well, their lives are at stake too, and that's really what we want you as the player to feel. It's like, oh my God, how do we all get through this together?
Right. Or maybe you don't.
Or maybe,
maybe you don't.
I mean, you talked about the tension and the drama. I mean, how much does sort of choice play into this game as you're kind of playing through? Because it feels like there are a bunch of different ways to take down the infected, obviously. I mean, are there a bunch of different ways to kind of play through this?
I mean, as you saw in the demo, like each setup you can approach almost in 3 different ways, whether you're taking them out, sneaking by them, or taking them out one by one stealthily. But as far as this,
Can you really sneak by them?
you can sneak by them.
Yeah.
You can skip?
You
Yeah.
can skip.
Wow, that must be difficult.
It's
right?
pretty hard.
Not through the whole game, but definitely we go
It's
out
not
of
one
our
of these
way.
games where like you can
We
go
wanna-
through the entire game.
Not the
and
whole
never have to kill
game.
a zombie.
We want to make sure that you hit certain moments and make the tension rise for these characters and make them feel that pressure. But at the same time, we're going out of our way to create this AI system that's completely dynamic and fluid. So you can drop into stealth, back into combat, or if I could use distractions and skirt by them, all that's possible in certain setups. So.
Now, you've had the 3 characters together here at this point in the game. How common is that going to be that you're going to have all 3? How often is it 1? Like, how do you balance that out?
It's just about pacing, and when Tess is there to tell us something about Joel and Ellie's relationship, and likewise other characters you'll meet, it's a way to reflect back something about these 2 characters. There's a big cast of characters. We've only revealed like a small number of them.
Okay.
But
So the other people that'll sort of be in your party, for lack of a better term, as you go into some of these battles?
yeah, you're going to be playing with other characters as well.
And it's both allies as well as enemies, like the different factions of humans you're going to see throughout this journey.
Right.
What we're showing today is the infection, that's how it's spreading and how that applies pressure to humans, provoking them to make interesting choices.
Right.
And that's going to create different factions, whether they're going to just kill you for your shoes, and whatever they can get by, or somebody else is going to try to get like hydroelectric plant back together and see if they can get a society back together, all under the guise of the pressure of these infected.
Now, obviously, that turn to becoming an infected, I mean, that's obviously something that we'll see sort of play through, throughout the game. That other side of the story, how are you kind of telling the side of the infected? I mean, we've seen these characters in action now, but I mean, how much are we going to learn about sort of who they are and that infection, how it grows?
That's kind of the fun part of how we tell the story. You give little hints, and you start filling in the blanks in your mind, and you find a little bit more of what happened in the world or what happened to a certain character before you've met them. It's part of the fun of the journey, is finding those things out.
No, I know there are lots of surprises, a lot of horror. I remember recently there was an article from you talking about the horror aspect of this game. I mean, is it there's going to be a lot of tension and that's going to be gritty at times, I guess, right?
Oh, how did you feel playing it?
No, I mean, it's absolutely tense, but I just wonder how far you push it. I mean, you've had some great moments, even that VGA trailer where you see the heads exploding. I mean,
for us, it's the thing that has intrigued us about this project is that contrast of getting these horrible moments with the brutality of the world, but then it's contrasted with like Ellie seeing her skyscraper for the first time, or seeing trees, or getting the lush of like the overgrowth that is like as our cities are being reclaimed by nature. And it's kind of like finding the right balance between the horror, the death, and the beauty and the journey, and why they're on this.
Yeah, it's got an amazing feel to it as you play through it, when the music and the sound and everything works together. I mean, it feels different. It feels like you want to know what's around that corner as you play through it. So it's looking great, coming out in May. So lots more to show. And I know even in the VGA trailer you guys showed a lot of other aspects of the game, like them on horseback and things like that. So there's lots of other things to this game that we haven't seen yet, right?
Yeah.
Big journey ahead of you.
All right, well, I made it through the first 30 minutes of it. Where was this, the footage we saw tonight, where was that set? It's kind of early part of the game?
It's early part of the game, so it's like it's Ellie and Joel have
Before
just...
Joel's been turned, right? Just kidding. All right, The Last of Us coming out in May. We'll check it out.
Joel, behind you!